This is the OMFL.
You can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Name. Here's another OMFL production.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the defensive FPR video for the OMFL. I'm the commission founder of the OMFL, Kinda Real Nate. Thanks for tuning in. Let me just jump right into it. You've probably been watching a couple of these, and so don't want to waste your time. We are updating this for Madden 19. You can see some of the old videos on our YouTube channel if you feel like having that. I don't want to go through the philosophy again. Go back and watch our offensive FPR if you want to learn more about the philosophy. It is what guides us. It is the leading document of who we are. I don't want to have to put rules in for black and white everything that we do. Instead, I want you to understand the heart of what we're trying to accomplish and why we're trying to accomplish that. And so if you want to hear more about that, look at the offensive FPR or just read it here yourself. I don't want to bore you if you've been watching every single video, so we're just going to hop right into it. We are a no-switch league, which means when the ball is in the air on defense, you're not allowed to switch to a player to make a play. You must wait for that ball to be caught. If it is a run, you can immediately switch and make the play. And if the ball is ever tipped, batted around, fumbled, anything like that, you may switch then and begin to make the play. We do this for a variety of different reasons. The main one is that we want to promote guys to build players and not just be really good at hitting buttons to make plays with very fast players. Instead, we want you to have to build your teams holistically and from top to bottom, and that is why we go no switch. On play calling, you're not allowed to use coach suggestions or concepts. We expect you to learn your playbook. The defenses that you call, when we start talking about ratios, when we start talking about man zone blitzes, whatever the play art in the game says the play is, that's what we go by. And so if it says zone, it's considered a zone to us. Man, it's a man. Blitz, it's a blitz. Keep it simple. Whatever the game calls it, that's what we call it. You're expected to run a base defense of a 3-4 or 4-3 for at least 50% of your calls. Don't want to see guys running only 5-2 or only nickel or only dime or only quarter. We don't want to see that type of thing. We want to see either 3-4 or 4-3 formations. And we'll get to a little bit about your playbooks later, but that does allow you to mix those up. You're allowed to use some of these other ones, but your base defense needs to be one of those. Formation selection should be guided by the offensive personnel. We do allow for some exceptions there, right? And so the rule of thumb is usually no more than one DB than receiver. So again, we don't want to see people running nickel against regular pro personnel. But if it's, 2nd and 20 and he comes out in, I formation, yeah, if you want to run nickel because they got to go a long way and you think they're going to pass, then run nickel, because the offense can't reverse it and then begin to use that rule against you to allow them to pick up big yards. So understand the situation, but again, you shouldn't be running nickel on 1st and 10, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 3. You should kind of let that guide you, but you're expected to run those two rules together, run that 3-4, 4-3 together with that one DB per, right? You're allowed to do that. Again, if a guy comes out and, shotgun 2 running back, 1 tight end, 2 receiver for a 3rd and 20, play quarters. I don't care. Do what you need to do to protect yourself, but don't play quarters against 1st and 10. Don't play nickel against, 2nd and 7. So learn how to kind of mix that up. Excessive use of man or zone, more than 70%, will result in a commissioner review. Again, we just don't want to abuse anything. Madden 18, it was zone. Madden 19, it's going to be man. Mix it up. Call a little bit of everything. If you want to see me go on a tyrant, play cover 2 zone. That play drives me nuts. Too many of you lean on it just from Madden 18 because it was so powerful. So yeah, you're expected to don't lean on any type of play call. Mix it up. Defensive play calling rules do not apply to the 5-yard line or less than 3 minutes of each half. And what we mean by that isn't that every rule goes away. It just means that, if you're protecting a lead and the guy, comes out and, I formation in the last 2 minutes of a game, you want to play quarters, then play quarters, right? Like there's some things where it's okay to do. I'm not going to force you to run a bunch of man defense in the final 2 minutes of a game that's you're winning by 3 because you ran too much zone. Like, do what you need to do, but at the same time, you should be mixing it up throughout the game where that never becomes an issue. You must rush at least 3 defensive players at all times. Never allowed to only rush 2. What guys will do is if it's a 3-man rush, they may pick that 3rd man that's rushing and go play zone. This does not sketch your own play up. Again, that's the second one you see here. Run the play as it's designed. Cover the area that you're supposed to cover, the man that you're supposed to cover. You just don't sketch your own play up and create your own on-the-fly defense. Run the plays that they're supposed to be ran as you call them. If you don't like the plays, then go find a different playbook and create a different playbook and find the plays that you need. Don't sketch up your own play here. This is just an example. It's an old video that just kind of shows you about zones. Use it if you feel like it. This is not a hard set rule. It's not difficult. There's the L1 assist now. You can easily cover a running back coming out of the backfield using that. Find better players, become better at the sticks, but cover your zone. It should not be like an 89 speed middle linebacker that's covering sideline to sideline in every zone. That's not what we want here. And if that's what you want to do, then we're not the community for you, and that will not be ever allowed. You can just kind of see some tips here that have been added over the years, but you're supposed to stay in the zone that you're supposed to cover. With that said, if you feel like a specific play is coming, you're allowed to gamble from time to time. If you gamble 3 or 4 times a game where you get out of your zone because you feel like a specific play is coming, I'm fine with that. But if you think a specific play is coming often, then you should learn how to play the player that's covering that zone and go cover that zone with that player instead of taking your player from afar off to go cover that zone. But you are allowed to gamble from time to time. Some pre-snap things. Pre-snap movement is allowed to a single linebacker or safety. If you manually move a player, you must stay as that player until the ball is snapped. Safeties cannot be manually moved into the linebacker box. So we ask that you don't start putting a bunch of people in the box. Keep that safety out of the box. If they're outside of the hashes, they can come up to the line of scrimmage, but nothing more. They can't squeeze into those hash marks. Manually controlled players must be set before hiking the ball. You're not allowed to try to time the snap up and have a running start. We just don't want to see any of that, so they must be still before the ball is snapped. You're limited to 3 hot routes and 1 audible, just like the offense. But this shouldn't be every single play. This should be a time to time when you're making an adjustment because you feel a specific thing is coming. Most of the time you should run the plays that you see in your playbook that you're calling. Excessive use of show blitz or 8 in the box will result in a commissioner review. A lot of times you can call a zone that will move that safety down the box, but at the end of the day, I don't care what you're calling. If you're playing most of the game with 1 safety high and 8 in the box, then we have a problem. You have to figure out how to use, the adjustments to reset people back where they're supposed to be. You have to find different plays to call, different formations, something to mix it up. We don't want to see 8 in the box, making running almost impossible. Run commit can only be used in situations where it's 2 yards or less to go. We will allow you to use the run commit function. And then no manual pre-snap movement of any player on special teams. And this should also say defensive line. You're not allowed to manually move a defensive lineman anywhere, just the line shift, pinch, spread, left, right. And even that shift should not be done every single play. We want to see that done just as an adjustment and nothing more. So there you have it. That is the defensive FPR for the OMFL. Thanks for watching the video, for tuning in, for checking us out, and for applying. We wish you luck. I'll see you around the side. God bless. Peace.